Look around your backyard. What if those bottles you almost threw away could become something extraordinary? Today, I'm sharing how we turned simple plastic waste into a glowing bottle tunnel playhouse, a space that children can't stop playing in. This is Backyard Fortune, where we transform everyday scraps into magical DIY creations. You'll find timestamps in this video, so jump to what inspires you most. And if something sparks a question, leave it in the comments. I always read them. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this content, there's a real story and a real family. This isn't just a video, it's a piece of my heart. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it truly matters. When you hit that button, you're helping keep a dream alive. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One, fairy light bottle lanterns. As twilight settles over the garden, something magical happens. From what was once a simple, forgotten bottle emerges a soft and gentle light. Hanging from an old oak branch, the glow spreads across the meadow of daisies and foxgloves, catching the attention of fireflies that drift lazily in the evening air. The glass, painted in lavender and mint, no longer feels ordinary. It feels like a lantern designed for a fairy's hand. And the best part is, it's something you can create yourself with just an empty bottle, a brush of paint, and a small light tucked inside. Move a little further, and the story continues beneath a rustic pergola. Here, bottles line the beams like glowing jewels, each one painted with broad strokes of color, rose, blue, and cream, creating soft spirals that come alive in the golden hour sun. Wisteria vines drape down in clusters, roses bloom beneath, and butterflies weave through the warm light. There's no need for expensive lanterns when beauty can be born from what we throw away. The trick is simple: use twine to suspend the bottles, a bit of imagination for the patterns, and let the sun and soft evenings do the rest. In another corner of the garden, the transformation takes on a playful charm. Plastic bottles, once destined for the bin, have been painted with whimsical floral patterns. Bright blooms of pink, turquoise, and yellow wrap around each bottle, their light glowing from within. They dangle from branches wrapped in ivy, casting color onto the flowers and soil below. It feels like walking into a festival of light, alive with joy and wonder. This is the power of DIY. It turns the simplest materials into something extraordinary. If you try it yourself, remember, the best results come when you let creativity lead. Use paints that bring you joy, mix colors freely, and don't worry about perfection. Add solar lights for an eco-friendly glow or even tiny battery candles for a softer effect. What matters is not flawless design, but the warmth it creates in your space. Every lantern is more than decoration. It's a quiet reminder that magic hides in the overlooked, that a bottle can shine again, and that sometimes the smallest effort transforms a garden into a storybook. When you see the glow at dusk, you don't just see light. You see the possibility of renewal, a piece of your own hands turned into wonder. Two, plastic bottle flower archway. At the heart of a garden, sometimes it takes just one bold gesture to transform the ordinary into the unforgettable. Imagine walking down a path framed not by store-bought arches, but by blooms crafted from recycled plastic bottles. Painted in bright shades of fuchsia, lemon yellow, lavender, and turquoise, these oversized flowers glow in the sunlight, their colors bouncing off the greenery like stained glass. The vines weave in and out of the arch, blending real leaves with handmade petals until you can hardly tell where nature ends and imagination begins. It feels as if fairies themselves had placed them there, a gateway into a more magical world. The beauty of this idea is its simplicity. Old bottles, often discarded without thought, become petals with just a pair of scissors and a touch of paint. Cut them into soft curves or pointed tips, depending on the kind of flower you want to mimic. Add color, pastel tones for a dreamy look, or bright garden shades for something playful, and suddenly you have building blocks for a floral sculpture that will never wilt. Secure them to a frame with wire or twine, and let the sun do the rest, bringing each bloom alive with light and shadow. Picture another corner of the garden where daisies nod in the grass, hydrangeas swell in purple and blue, and bees hum softly in the air. Standing among them is a cheerful arch decorated with plastic bottle flowers in coral, mint, and sunshine yellow. Sunlight passes through the translucent petals, scattering gentle colors across the ground. It is proof that beauty can come from the humblest of materials, and that with a little imagination, a backyard can feel like the entrance to a fairy tale. And then there's the charm of seeing it through children's eyes. A cobblestone path winds toward an archway painted in pinks, blues, and violets. Butterflies flit between the blossoms while children laugh and run beneath, their footsteps echoing against the stones. For them, it is not just a garden decoration, it is a doorway into play, a stage for stories, a canvas for wonder. What makes this project so rewarding is that it marries creativity with sustainability. It is more than just decor, it is a statement that waste can bloom again, that discarded bottles can be reborn as joy. If you try it at home, remember that perfection isn't the goal. Each flower can be a little different, each arch unique. The slight imperfections are what give it life, what make it feel crafted by hand and heart. So let your bottles gather your paints, and let your imagination take root. Build not just an arch, but an invitation, an entrance into a space where magic lingers in every petal, and where the garden itself tells a story of renewal and delight. Three, Fairy Garden Mirror Portal. There is something enchanting about stumbling upon a mirror in the garden, not the kind that shows only your reflection, but one that seems to open into another world. At the base of an old tree, broken glass has been carefully pieced together into a circle, its edges softened with moss, ivy, and tiny wildflowers. When the light filters through the branches above, it dances across the shards, casting a pattern that feels alive. Butterflies settle on the frame, as though guarding a secret doorway, and for a moment you wonder if stepping closer might carry you into a hidden woodland realm. Elsewhere, the illusion grows bolder. In a garden wall draped with jasmine, an oval portal shimmers with fragments of mirror arranged like a sunburst. Each piece reflects a different glimpse, a rose in bloom, a passing bird, the fading glow of evening sky. Mushrooms rest at the base, and the soft golden light of dusk makes the whole scene glow warmly, believable in its magic. This is where recycled fragments become more than decoration. They become storytelling, an invitation for the imagination to wander. In another corner, a smaller arch stands framed with lavender and daisies. Its mosaic of mirror shards sparkles like jewels, scattering rainbow colors across the grass. Fireflies drift nearby as if drawn to the glow, making the air shimmer with gentle movement. Here the broken becomes whole again, transformed into something whimsical and radiant, a portal not only in appearance but in spirit. Creating such a piece is not as daunting as it might seem. Old mirrors that are no longer perfect, scratched, chipped, or broken, become the raw materials. With patience, safety gloves, and a little imagination, the pieces can be arranged into circles, arches, or sunburst patterns. Moss or creeping ivy softens the edges, while simple wooden or stone frames give structure. Placed against a tree, a wall, or even freestanding among flowers, these portals catch the light differently every hour of the day, ensuring that no two moments ever look quite the same. The magic lies in contrast, the fragility of glass, the strength of nature, and the way they meet to create something unexpected. A mirror portal is not only a piece of art, it's a reminder that even the broken can be beautiful again, especially when placed in harmony with the living world around it. Four, glass bottle solar fence lights. When the day slowly folds into dusk, the garden begins to change its character. Along the wooden fence, old glass bottles, once destined for the recycling bin, now stand proudly reborn as glowing sentinels of light. Shades of green, amber, and blue capture the last whispers of sunlight, while the solar bulbs inside them gently awaken, casting a soft radiance over daisies, hydrangeas, and foxgloves below. It feels almost as if the garden itself is sighing, slipping into its evening attire, where flowers glow not just in color but in companionship with the lights above. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. With nothing more than bottles, a few solar lights, and some patience, you can transform a plain fence into a luminous piece of living art. The translucent glass diffuses the light so gracefully that each glow feels like a star carefully placed at eye level. And because the bottles are solar-powered, you won't need to worry about cords or switches. Nature does all the work, storing energy in daylight to release it back at night. There's also freedom in the design. You might choose bottles of one color for a clean, elegant effect, or mix an assortment for a more playful, festive feel. Pair them with climbing roses or ivy so that the glow filters through leaves and petals, creating an enchanting interplay of shadow and light. If you place them near a cobblestone path, as in some gardens, the stones will catch the golden hues and reflect them, making each evening stroll feel like a wander through a fairy tale corridor. Beyond aesthetics, these bottle lights also add function, guiding your steps at night, making gatherings cozier, and giving your outdoor space a personality that feels both creative and welcoming. They remind us that beauty doesn't always come from the new, but from reimagining what we already have. A simple wine bottle, once empty, becomes a vessel of light and memory, casting its glow not just on your flowers but on your evenings, making them linger a little longer, softer, and warmer. Five, shimmering CD mosaic garden path. Morning light glints across the path, and what at first seems like ordinary stones suddenly shimmers like a river of rainbows. This is the magic of the CD mosaic walkway, where yesterday's forgotten discs find a second life as stepping stones of light. Each fragment catches the sun and scatters it back in blues, golds, and pinks, just like the wings of a dragonfly as it hovers near lavender blooms. Walking along this path feels as though you've stepped into a garden storybook, with every step releasing a little sparkle of enchantment. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. Old CDs, which might otherwise gather dust in drawers, can be cut or broken into shapes and carefully set into mortar or garden concrete. When laid out in swirling patterns or clustered into flower shapes, they create a living artwork that changes throughout the day. In the early hours, the cool light reflects in soft pastels, while at noon, the path explodes into a symphony of colors. By evening, the shards glow like embers as the sun sets low. It is not just decorative, it's also deeply personal. The discs you once used for music, films, or family memories now become a part of your garden story. Imagine children running barefoot across the smooth surfaces, their laughter mixing with the hum of bees as butterflies dance overhead. Or picture a quiet evening, when the fading sun scatters one last rainbow across marigolds and ivy at your feet. If you ever doubted the power of reuse, here is proof. With nothing more than a stack of old CDs, some simple adhesive, and a little patience, you can create a pathway that feels both practical and magical. It's an invitation to slow down, to walk gently, and to see beauty in what was once overlooked. And in that shimmer beneath your feet, you might just catch the feeling of stepping into a fairyland that belongs entirely to you. Six, recycled tin can garden totem. In a quiet garden corner, where flowers sway gently in the breeze, something unexpected rises with color and joy, a totem made entirely from recycled tin cans. At first glance, it may seem simple, just cans stacked one on another. But look closer, and every surface tells its own playful story. One is painted sky blue with daisies that almost look like they were picked straight from a meadow, another swirls in pink and white like a summer carnival, while yet another bursts with sunshine motifs, radiating warmth even on cloudy days. Together, they create a sculpture that feels alive, a cheerful pillar bringing personality into the garden. The beauty of this idea lies not only in its charm but in its accessibility. Anyone can gather a handful of used cans, scrub them clean, and let imagination guide the brush. Bright pastels, bold patterns, or even the doodles of children can turn each can into a canvas. With just a little stacking and a touch of balance, a totem begins to grow, one layer at a time. Surround it with marigolds, lavender, or trailing ivy, and the scene transforms into something straight out of a fairy tale garden. What makes this project even more special is its flexibility. You can build a tall tower that greets visitors at the garden entrance, or a series of smaller totems scattered like playful markers among flowerbeds. For families, it's a project that invites children to join in, painting, stacking, and finally standing back to admire something they helped create. For anyone, it's a way to bring a splash of color, whimsy, and creativity into everyday life, while giving new purpose to something often thrown away. And when the afternoon sun catches the painted surfaces, casting soft glimmers across the blooms nearby, the garden feels alive with a new kind of magic. It's proof that joy can be made from the simplest of materials, and that with a little imagination, even the humblest tin can become part of a story worth telling. Seven, denim pocket herb garden. There's something wonderfully surprising about the way an old pair of jeans can find new life in the garden. Here, where once they carried the weight of daily life, the denim pockets now hold fresh sprigs of rosemary, mint, basil, and thyme. Hung neatly along a rustic fence or stitched together into a vertical board, they transform into tiny herb cradles, each pocket overflowing with greenery. The soft blue of worn fabric contrasts against the deep, lively green of the plants, creating a look that feels both homely and enchanting. The practicality of this idea is as charming as its appearance. Denim is sturdy, breathable, and easy to hang, making it a perfect improvised planter for small herbs. You can nail or sew pockets to wood, attach them to an old pallet, or simply line them up along a fence. To make it work best, slip a bit of plastic or landscape fabric inside to help hold soil and moisture, then tuck in your favorite herbs. Within weeks, the pockets will brim with life, their scent filling the air each time you brush past. What makes this design even more magical is how it turns a mundane object into a piece of living art. Butterflies flit around, bees stop by to sip from blossoms, and suddenly the garden has a corner that feels alive with creativity and personality. Painted flowers on the fabric, frayed seams, and faded denim shades only add to its rustic beauty. It's the kind of project that reminds us that gardening doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. With just a few old clothes and some imagination, you can create a garden wall that is practical, whimsical, and endlessly inspiring. And when the evening sun glows through the leaves of basil or the tall spires of rosemary, the whole scene takes on the atmosphere of a fairy tale garden stitched together from everyday life. Eight. Upcycled umbrella shade planters. An umbrella is meant to shield us from the rain, yet here it has been given a new story to tell. Turned upside down, painted in soft shades of lavender and mint, it no longer repels water but cradles life. Petunias spill over its edges, ivy trails downward like gentle streams, and the structure hangs beneath a rustic pergola where sunlight dances between wooden beams. It's a vision that feels both whimsical and practical, reminding us that broken things can bloom again when seen through fresh eyes. The charm of this idea lies in its simplicity. Old umbrellas, often left forgotten after their ribs snap or fabric tears, make surprisingly perfect planters. Their curved shape holds soil securely, while the handles offer a natural way to hang them from branches, pergolas, or even hooks along the porch. With just a splash of paint, a few holes for drainage, and the addition of trailing plants, they transform into floating gardens. In some corners of the yard, umbrellas stand proudly upright, their canopies painted with intricate floral patterns, filled with marigolds and geraniums that burst with color. The sight feels playful, like a celebration of nature and creativity woven together. Bees hum lazily between the blooms, as though unsure which flowers are painted and which are real. And then, under the bough of an old mossy tree, a sky-blue umbrella painted with cheerful daisies sways gently in the breeze. From it, pansies and ivy cascade like ribbons, catching light and shadow in a way that makes the garden feel alive with quiet magic. The air itself seems brighter, as if nature approves of this small act of reinvention. This project is a gentle reminder: every broken object holds the possibility of beauty. With just a little imagination, even an umbrella that has weathered its last storm can become a canopy of blooms, turning a garden into a place where the ordinary is transformed into a storybook moment. Nine. Bottle cap rain chain DIY. When rain falls, the garden whispers in a language that feels both ancient and familiar. Here, even the smallest object can be transformed into something magical, and bottle caps, ordinary pieces of metal we usually throw away, suddenly become storytellers in the rain. Linked together, painted in hues of turquoise, coral, gold, and mint, they dangle like playful jewels beneath the roofline, guiding each droplet on a shimmering journey downward. The sound of water trickling from cap to cap is soft and melodic, like a lullaby nature hums to herself on a quiet afternoon. The beauty of a rain chain lies not just in its charm but in its purpose. Instead of harsh gutter pipes, water is allowed to move visibly, gracefully, like a living artwork in motion. It can fall into a stone basin carpeted with moss, where ferns bow under the cool mist, or into a simple clay pot sprinkled with floating blooms. With every drop, your garden feels more alive, refreshed, and enchanted, as though the rain itself has been invited to dance. Creating your own rain chain is simpler than it appears. Old bottle caps, collected from family gatherings, picnics, or forgotten drawers, become the heart of this design. Drill small holes, link them together with wire, and let your imagination guide the color palette. Bright paints will shimmer in sunlight, while leaving some caps in their original metallic tones adds a rustic, weathered elegance. You might place your chain where lavender and daisies grow, so each droplet nourishes the flowers below. And soon, butterflies and bees will join the ritual, sipping from petals bejeweled by rain. What makes this idea so rewarding is how it blends functionality with poetry. It saves waste from landfills, turns storms into spectacles, and makes every rainfall something to look forward to. A bottle cap rain chain doesn't just decorate your garden, it teaches us to see beauty in overlooked things, to listen to the gentle music of water, and to let nature remind us that even the humblest scraps can sparkle with wonder. Recycled Bottle Tunnel Playhouse. Imagine walking into a garden where play and creativity merge with nature's calm embrace. Here, ordinary plastic bottles, once destined for the bin, are reborn as radiant tunnels filled with light and color. The bottles are painted in bright shades of blue, yellow, and green, their translucent walls allowing the sun to dance through them, scattering playful patterns across the grass. Children crawl through laughing, their joy mingling with the flutter of butterflies and the golden hum of summer air. Around them, marigolds and daisies sway gently, adding bursts of natural color that mirror the bottle's vibrant tones. Elsewhere, the bottles are arranged in soft mosaics, pinks, lavenders, and turquoise blending like brushstrokes of a rainbow. Sunlight streams through and paints the earth below in shimmering patterns, making the tunnel feel like a secret path into a magical story. Ivy creeps nearby, and the scent of lavender lingers in the breeze, so the recycled creation feels perfectly at home within a cottage garden. The tunnel doesn't just stand as a structure, it becomes an adventure, a space for children to explore and imagine as if stepping into their own fairy tale. Some bottles are even decorated with hand-painted details, tiny flowers, stars, and hearts. Each brushstroke adds a personal touch, turning the tunnel into more than a playhouse. It becomes a gallery of dreams. Surrounded by tall hydrangeas and foxgloves, the tunnel looks like a glowing gateway into a hidden world. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. You don't need expensive materials, only patience, creativity, and bottles you already have. With a bit of color and care, you can craft not just a tunnel, but an experience, one that invites laughter, light, and magic into your garden. It's proof that what we once overlooked can be transformed into something that inspires both children and adults alike. And there you have it, a tunnel of light, laughter, and creativity, all made from bottles once considered trash. Imagine building one of these in your own backyard, where children can play, and where every ray of sunlight brings color to the ground. If this project inspired you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What would you create with your bottles? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more DIY garden magic, and share it with someone who loves creative backyard ideas. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and remember, every small idea can grow into something magical.